Hey guys, it's the Sun, and welcome back to Destiny. Today we're gonna switch it up and talk about something I've done recently that makes me like super happy. Your boy is officially a shadow. And the reason I wanted to really do a video on about this is because I've really been fascinated with the titles as of late, and Shadow was definitely one I had my eyes on for a long time. But if I were to like start from the very beginning, this is how it started. So of course, when Season of Opulence came around, I knew there was going to be a title attached to it. But the moment I realized that it was called Shadow, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to have it. So after looking into the triumphs and everything, of course I'll go over quickly if you guys want to take a glance at them. Not one of them, a few of the triumphs is the raid challenges similar to that of Scourge and Last Wish, but unfortunately I wasn't able to do them early on because of my clan rank. So I kind of initially gave up because I never thought that my clan would get that high enough. But then one day when I went to go see Hawthorne to get my 15th Mimic helmet or whatever the PlayStation exclusive helmet is, she gives me a lot of the PS4 stuff for some reason. But I'm not even that bummed out about it because I just turned it into Shard anyways. But yeah, so I went to go talk to her and she had the bounties available. So it was literally as if the stars were aligned because I had nothing else to do but literally play Destiny and work on content. So I busted out. I was literally on shadow mode for 3 straight weeks. If I were to start from the beginning, let's talk the easy. The easiest part I think of this title was, off the top of my head, I'm gonna say sliding the runes. That is like the easiest initial part of this whole thing, because if you did the cheese, you did that passively without even realizing it. It says you gotta slot 200. I went to go check. My thing was like, unfortunately, I didn't really do that much menagerie, so by the time I was going for Shadow and I had a slot, I only had, I believe, 60 out of 200. So I did the math and it was like, you do, 60 minus 200 divided by 3 because you're sliding through runes. And then by that, you just say, okay, I have this many runs to do. So that part was easy. Another easy part was just doing the menagerie. Like it's this title alone is just a lot of menagerie stuff. It has you doing stuff like beat the ogres and things like that. I'm just gonna gloss over these in case some of you guys just want to glance at it just for reasons of the video. But half of the stuff you do just passively, like the gauntlet for like going the distance. I did that one, I think, day one because that was when the cheese was around, when you could just mountaintop the end and then would just blow the scoreboard up. So everyone probably got that done. The hunted is easy. A lot of these triumphs are easy on normal menagerie difficult. At 690, these are like easy. And that's what I liked about this, chasing this title at first is it eases you in there. Like page 1 is literally just easy stuff. It's like, make sure you do each encounter with the menagerie to its fullest, and then of course once you get to that boss, you just beat him. That's it. Hasapico is like my favorite, honestly. Now, page 2 and 3 is when things get real. So this is when the chase for Shadow really tests your determination as a gamer, as a guardian, and as a person. The hardest part of this title. The flawless runs of the bosses were hands down the most difficult thing I had to do in a Destiny game, period. Now, a little bit of backstory. This is my first... I feel like for the titles that I went through, I went from easy, medium to hard. So Dreaming City, I feel like wasn't that. For my Cursebringer seal, I want to say that was my easy, because my first two was actually Dredging. I didn't think Dredging was that hard. I found Cursebringer to be more difficult in terms of it was more RNG based and time based. Dredging I did in a good amount of time. Being that it is centered around PvP, kind of, it was just very grindy. But dredging I really didn't find to be that difficult. I personally like, Gambit, so it didn't feel like that big of a deal to me. But Shadow was just like just a straight shot out there. Like, this is what a title is supposed to be, because I don't have Riven's Bane out. Of course, I'm not Blacksmith, because those ones are centered around flawless, raids and things like that. Shadow has 4 triumphs in which you have to do flawlessly. And the bosses were difficult. Now, I want to do, in my opinion, from most easy to most hard. Hasapico, which is my favorite of the bosses. I love the Vex. The Vex are my favorite. Hasapico wasn't that hard. I feel like what made him difficult was, I believe the modifiers during his encounter is, you gotta do, I think it's like Blackout. So, if you get meleeed, that really hurts you. And the goblins are notorious for that. Even if you have a well, a lot of these encounters you need a well. You just, period. There's no if, ands, or buts about it. As a Warlock main, you need a well. So, when you're doing DPSs, you gotta be very mindful of the goblins, because they will literally smack you and then that's it. That's one guardian down, go to orbit and try again. The hobos were I'll say pretty deadly too, but I pretty much took care of them. I believe we beat him. The team I was with, we all ran Outbreak Prime. So, there was plenty of primary ammo on the ground, so we didn't have to worry about that. Second, I'm gonna say Pagori. She was difficult because what's funny about her is I don't even think it was her herself. It was... Oh, I'm on the wrong page. Whatever. What made Pagori, I believe, difficult was not her necessarily, but the Cyclopses. My job on the team I did it with was just make sure Cyclopses died. They have to go. Not even the Minotaurs, and believe it or not, like the Hobgoblins didn't even kill us as much because we had so much, focus on our what a Radiance is, and we were so observant of the ads around us that, Hobgoblins and Minotaurs really weren't that big of a deal. Plus, everyone was running Recluse, so they would just get melted. But the Cyclopses, and I believe it was Void Burn too, so one blast from a Cyclops would just end you. And it wouldn't even kill you. It would probably kill your whole team. So let's say even if you're going for just let's say your team says, okay, let's just kill her anyways. You're probably already down by 3 or 4 people already. So that alone, you just probably should just go to orbit at that point. The Cyclopses, even across the way where the entrance of the raid is, they were such a threat. If I didn't have Mountaintop, I feel like these encounters would have just been even more difficult. But even if you don't have Mountaintop, honestly, a good sniper rifle, or I personally love, believe it or not, 21% Delirium. A lot of people are very iffy about that heavy machine gun because there are plenty others like it, but for some reason I was like my lucky gun on the encounters. Like, that gun has got me through so much. I personally love it. Now let's get to the hardest of the trio. Arunak is one of the hardest bosses, I believe, to flawless for this seal. One, he's an ogre, so his aggro, once it's on you, is so detrimental to your team, it's not even funny. His I-beam can literally melt you in less than a second. And because of how his mechanic works is, he has a shield that guards him that must be brought down with bombs that drop from a Cursed Thrall. Cursed Thrall explodes. That can hurt you, especially on heroic difficulty because you're already under level. My job primarily was to get the bombs, so this was kind of shaky for me, but luckily we had a strat where the Banner Shield tie-ins, they would, draw in Thrall, they would die on the shield, and I would just pick the bombs up. So I really didn't have that much of a problem with them, but it was the occasional Thrall that would, wander around that would potentially kind of hurt us a lot. So, that was very difficult. And he does a lot of damage. Arunak is just a very powerful boss in general. And as well as he is a boss that you just have to beat fast. Hasapico and Pagori, you can take your time with them, I want to say, to focus on ads. But Arunak has what I like to call a penalty for if you're slow. As you know, or for those who don't know, Arunak has treasure knights in his encounter, which is a penalty for, I believe, taking too long, and they can also spawn if, depending on how much damage you do. But you can beat him before those knights spawn in, which tells me you're supposed to kill him faster. And with the rush of you also trying to get the heroic flawless down, it's difficult. So he's that kind of boss you want to just kill as soon as possible, but be smart about it. Being smart for this guy is so important. Now, granted, you got to be smart for a lot of encounters in Destiny, but you have to play very well with this. Your team has to be balanced, and you yourself have to perform exceptionally well. What I do like about him, though, is he really teaches you, he really shows you what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are. You want to play at your strength. My strength was throwing bombs. I was very, very good at throwing bombs and not wiping. The only time I died is if, for example, we were wiping, or if a banner shield happened to do a bad call and when I happened to go pick one up and I blew up, which is also very rare because the times were also very, very, very amazing that I played with. But he definitely will teach you a lot about yourself. And what I liked about when I finally beat it is the fact that I beat it on my hunter felt really good for me, because hunters, I feel as though, don't have many safety nets, and I'm a very safe player. So to be put in a position where I have not only the most difficult job, but the most weighing job, because my job is to literally bring his shield down to hurt him. And if that's not done, it falls on my team. So, I was actually very glad to get this complete. I literally almost started crying. It was that it felt that good. So Argonaut was cool. So yeah, the whole trio, very challenging. If I were to go back to other things, now the hardest of the Menagerie triumphs that you can even do on normally, I want to actually talk about Safe Haven, when you gotta keep all 3 havens preserved and defeat the ogres. This is quite difficult with a random team, actually. I'm surprised I even did it without help. Being this is so weighing down on me, I would literally load into Menagerie until I got this as a second encounter, and if we didn't do it, I went back to orbit again. It was not until I want to say my 11th try of actually focusing on it during my Shadow Title grind, I actually got it done. The randoms that were actually pretty good. I believe two of them were maybe doing the same thing because they were managing the 2 other havens. I had one personally, and then by the time the boss spawned around, we were just melting them, no competition. I think I was maybe my warlock, so I had Well of Radiance, shotgun, no problem. They went down. I was super happy. But yeah, these get page 2 really gets into the nitty gritty of the Shadow Title grind. Which brings me to Crown of Ease. Funny enough, I actually got this done before I even, started the bosses, which is weird. A lot of people save this for last, and I could not. There's a lot of people out there who are so close to Shadow that are being held back by the flawless Crown run, and it feels so unfortunate because it wasn't hard, I want to say, but it depends on who you're playing with. Believe it or not, I got this done at 2 in the morning on my second run with a team from LFG. And we didn't raid report each other. We were just a bunch of guys that teamed up that wanted to get this done. And the fact that we did it on our second try, it was literally 90% luck and 10% skill, because the team, we were all good. We were we can tell just by talking how we communicated our loadouts. We were so serious. And the only reason we failed the first time is because the party leader who was hyping us up at first, he actually died because he blew himself off a mountaintop when the thaw was coming in. But after he learned that lesson, the second run, easy. We got it, no problem. And I was really happy. A good friend of mine who's super good at the game, sitting on 7 seals right now, is actually held back just by this triumph. And I know that they're good enough to be a shadow, but they're just held back by the Crown of East flawless triumph. And it's unfortunate. But I was really glad to get this done. Superstitious was not really that bad. It was don't get the Witch's Curse debuff. Now, what I will say about this is, you can do this separately. You could literally come back. You could do 4 raids. You could do 4 different raids and just get do each of these encounters and not catch the witch's curse during no set encounters. What would have made I'm Not Superstitious more difficult is if in one single raid run you could not get the debuff. I'm surprised that they didn't do it like that, because on top of the flawless menagerie bosses, the Crown of Ease and everything else, I'm truly surprised. I feel like maybe that's what they wanted to do, but that would probably made the seal even more difficult to obtain. But then again, if you were a good team, you won't catch the witches. You won't catch the debuff. You just won't. If you're good enough, you shouldn't have anything to worry about. And then, of course, you know, the raid challenges. All of them felt pretty fun. They didn't feel too hard. I believe if your team could get really overwhelmed with both hands, maybe challenging. But the easiest out of all of these is probably Total Victory. Easiest one. Have someone with an anarchy, get the buff, and boom, you got it. It's easy. Now, if that was gone, I would probably say Total Victory would be a little bit more difficult, because then you have to actually pace, you know, who punches him, you know, so on and so forth. But it wasn't that bad. Limited Blessings is easy too. Just have 2 people with the buff get it during the whole encounter. Oh, well, 2 people at a time get the buff. But other than that, I was really, really happy to get this done. The badge for the items really weren't even that difficult. My RNG was actually pretty good. Believe it or not, I got the swords on all my characters, so that really didn't even hold me back. Yeah, as you can see, I'm pretty close to getting everything on each of my characters. The only reason I don't have the armor on my Titan is just, honestly, it just doesn't look that appealing to me. In fact, I don't even know what helmet this is supposed to be that got brought back. I could be wrong, but I feel like it's the Chroma armor helmet, I want to say. But who knows? But yeah, the badge really wasn't that hard. Obtaining the rose wasn't even that bad. I played with a really good friend of mine, so that quest went by really fast. You get the sparrow from sliding the room, so that's not even that bad. Now, what would have been what would have been difficult is if they put the ship as a requirement, but the drop rate for that is so low that I feel like I wouldn't even have it right now if that was the case. Well, actually, no, that's not true, because I got the ship, so so that really wouldn't bother me. But yeah, the Shadow title is, I like it. It felt like such a really big achievement for me personally. I love the name. I think Callus is a really cool villain. And I really am going into Destiny 2 Shadowkeep and with Cross Save. I wanted a title that says, I played this game. I'm good at this game. A lot of the content creators, a lot of my good friends have Blacksmith and Ribbon's Bane and Reckoner. I believe, I'm not saying all titles aren't special, but there's just something about, you know, I want to say the Ribbon's Banes, the Shadows, the Reckoners, and the Blacksmiths, because they all center around flawless achievements. Now, if you do those, that really says a lot about you. If I see a Blacksmith and a Ribbon's Bane, I kind of give like a nod to them. Those guardians should be, you know, appreciated and just, you know, looked up upon. And I feel like I'm amongst them now. And I would get told even before the Shadow title I was great at this game, but I needed something for myself that really reflected that. Now, the only title I really can see myself going after now is Ribbon's Bane. I would really like to get Ribbon's Bane before Shadowkeep as well. I believe if my theories are, I believe the next 2 raid challenges I need to complete are going to start this week and next week. So if I get lucky, I can actually become Ribbon's Bane in 2 weeks. Of course, I have to do Petra's run, but after doing plenty of you know, Last Wish runs as well as becoming a Shadow and, you know, doing Crown of Ease, I'm more than capable of, you know, doing a flawless encounter. But I did it, guys. I did it. I'm a Shadow, and it feels amazing. Fun fact, I didn't know this. If you become a Shadow and you talk to Callus, he gives you some dialogue. I don't know if it's dialogue on my Titan because I haven't talked to him on my Titan. I've mostly been here on my Warlock, but he says some stuff to you. It's really cool. He acknowledges that you're a Shadow now. He basically says, you know, go on, prosper, and be great, and and all that good stuff. But it felt really cool. I love when you get a title and certain NPCs acknowledge that. Kind of similar to how when you become a Dredgen, and if you go talk to the Drifter, you know, he gives you some dialogue and he's like, Dredgen, yeah, I like the sound of that. I love that. When the game acknowledges a triumph on that level, it feels really, really good. I have been obsessed with this emote, and I don't know why. I'm not even in a sad mood. It's just really I just love it. But, you know, you can't go wrong with the boop, the chair. Oh, man. Guys, I'm just so excited. Shadow. Man, that's so cool. That is just so cool. I would love to have Riven's Bane be my fourth. If I can have that be my fourth, that'd be cool. I wanted Chronicler 2, but I have no idea where to start. I think it's just a lot of lore stuff. I definitely have a video planned out where I'm going to go into what your seal says about you. I can't wait to get that out to you guys. I think that's going to be really funny. Oh man, it's going to be goofy. I'm telling you. I have words about you reckoners out there. Oh man. Y'all crazy. Reckoners are insane. But I don't want to go too much because that's not what this video is. It is about just, you know, shout out to how I feel and everything. But, you know, if you guys like the video, a like is always appreciated, or a sub. I appreciate those who came by. And this has been The Scent, and I will see you guys back in the wild. Peace.